Hello everyone, and welcome to what I believe will be the first track editor tutorial out. So it's still in a somewhat rough shape. Today is the 1st of January 2022. So it's been out for about 1 week. But most of the tips I will be leaving here will probably still be relevant further down the road. So first thing first, when we get into the editor, you will have just an empty canvas. So the ground type you can simply change here on the left. You can move this selection menu up and down, just left click it and drag. You have an asphalt background, but don't be fooled, this will act like grass, okay? But let's just go with the default one. There isn't really any difference. It's just aesthetic. So it's just decoration. As you can see, you have these several menu options on the left. These three at the top will always be the same, and they're quite basic. You don't really need to use the delete one. I will show you what you can do, and even the edit one. So the first thing you will usually want to do is to set the width by going here to options, into map width and height. So right now the maximum width is going to be 8192, which is very nice. That's bigger than Nord's. But let's do a small map. 2048. Any size should do. Okay, let's just check the height. Okay, so we can make huge maps now, which is great. It's something that was not the case a few days ago. Okay, so to move the map, you have this button, the info button down here, which gives you a lot of tips and a lot of hotkeys, so to speak. So you can do control and middle mouse button. You can see here, pan view, and just move around. That's what I usually do. You can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out and toggle the grid on and off. There's also the HD mode. I'm actually not sure if I'm in HD mode or not. It supposedly has to do like with the textures, like the terrain textures and whatnot. It might make a difference in your computer. I'm not really sure. Yeah, and as you can see, you can use the middle mouse to edit points. You can delete with the right click and add points with the left click. That's why I said you don't really need to use these buttons specifically. For example, if you have delete selected, you can just left click to delete. But you can just normally right click. So let's try to do a really small track. We can get this out of the way. I will explain some of the other things. Okay, so let's say we want to do a really, really simple track. Triangle track, why not? So that's just it. You just, okay, so I right click there to delete, as you can see. So first things first, you'll want to do a straight line, right? So you just click once, click twice, you have a straight. You can adjust this. As you can see, it only has one. You can do this with the middle mouse button, just select and move it. It only has one because it's not completed. If I press here, this one will be like a middle node. So you'll have some more control over what it does. And when I press here, it loops around and everything will have 2 nodes. Now, let's say I have completed this, but I want this to be a square instead of a triangle. So you have this option, insert point. So what you do, you have to have the add button selected. So you press I, you hold the I button, and now you press with the left mouse button, and boom. You now have an extra node in the middle of your track, which is great. Same thing if you want to do here a more detailed corner, something like this. You could just add a point there. Now you have two options to make the start finish line. You can do is counterclockwise or clockwise. That's just it. This one, I'm actually not sure what it's supposed to be. I have no idea. So let's ignore that. To make curbs, you have the inner curbs, which exactly, there we go. You just select 2 points. If the corner is a bit too square, like let's make a really square corner. Okay, you see it bugs out. Okay, so try to make them round. Boom, there we go. But if you really want a square corner, there's no problem with that. What you're going to do, or at least what I suggest, is to try to do it separately like this, and it's gonna look fine in my opinion. And again, for the other ones, do this. Oh, and when you add the curb, these nodes, you can pull them around, no worries. Same here, pull them, like line it up if you really wanted to, and zoom in to be more precise. As you can see, there's a little bit of grass there, and don't want that. Like limit there, and okay, I guess that's fine. And same thing here, it's gonna be the same. There we go, there we go, there we go. I'm not even going to bother with that one. And the other option is the outside curb. So if you want to do something like this, go this, exit, entry of the corner, for example. There we go. You can always pull it. And do something weird like this. Here. Whatever you want, really. Okay. So that's the basics of doing the track portion. You can change the curb colors here. I want blue curbs, pink curbs, or whatever. Just do that. That's fine. So let's do, okay, like this. Let's do a bit darker. Why not? There we go. Okay, that's the basics. Now, if you go to info, you will see that there's a shift track. So control and arrow keys, it shifts the whole track. It might not be obvious right now. Okay, you have to select this. Shift the track. Okay, I guess you need to be at the edge of the map for it to actually move the track, which is kind of weird, but it works, as you can see. And you can also change the track width with minus and plus buttons. It says it's the equal sign, but it's not, okay? Just to be clear. So I'm increasing the size, I'm decreasing the size. The default is 100. You can go as low as -5. Okay, okay. So it starts growing again. Okay, sure. Oh, it actually like reverses the track. Okay, that's kind of weird, but that's funny. That's very funny. Okay. As you can see, the start finish line, it's always the same size, which can be kind of annoying if you make a small track. That might change in the future, I don't know. But that's it. The show hides smooth corner indicators here. Okay, so that's not what I wanted to do. So what happened here is that I pressed O, and O is open close track, which I'm not quite sure what it does. Okay, I pressed C and it closed the track, so I guess it just paths immediately to the first, so it loops around the track. The show hides smooth corners.
Are you streaming it or not?
Oh, and someone just joined the channel. Okay, not now, sorry. So yeah, I'm not sure what smooth corners indicator does. Maybe I can't have the... Huh. Okay, so that might be a different thing, but it's not too important. There's also the rotate track, which is not working for me. Maybe I just have the wrong hotkey for some reason. And there's the, where is it, scale track, which also doesn't work for me, but it does work for some other people. So I think it might be an issue with okay, so what's this? Okay, so I think this is the smooth corner indicators. Not sure. Yeah, so my issue is that I might have, due to a different keyboard, it might not be using the correct hotkeys. But that's it. Even without those two options, you can pretty much do anything. So the objects, it's pretty straightforward. They're just objects that you can put here. And you can just, I think it's easier to press edit here to just get the preview of the object out of the way. And you can, of course, push this to move it with the middle mouse button, or here to adjust the direction. Since this is an object, there is no adjusting of the angle of the corner like we do here. You can adjust both angles. You can do something like this, like this. Might get a bit weird. Do some really long sweeping corners. This. Okay. So yeah, the objects are pretty straightforward. You can do stands and rotate them. Not much tell you about here. And here, can go off the map. Again, you can pull on this. Hit the right mouse button. There's a lot of options here. You also have trees. This is a little steward. It's kind of funny. A little steward guy. Looking at the track. Placing cars, whatever. The tunnels. A steward in a box. Here, watching the start finish. I'm not quite sure what this is. You can add some houses if you want to do like a street circuit. A lot of houses and boats, and that's it. Okay, and now what might be the most important thing for a track to be actually label, and that's the walls. So, okay, so let's do a small wall here. Usually what I do, there's many ways to do this. Usually I place kind of like I do the corners. So you place here one at the start of the corner and one at the end, and then you can just adjust the angle. You know, on both of them. If I wanted to go really close to the track, if I wanted to really sweep out or something like that, you can see there's many shapes that you can create. Usually, as I said, I just try to have it match the corner. You can build it closer to the track. Really do it at the points where I actually have the corners. But of course, you can vary like I'm doing this. The outside points are, I'd say, the least important. Or it's least important to be precise with them. We can even do like this here. Different approach to the corners. And adjust. As you can see, it kinda much more square, like this. It. And okay, so just press, usually I just press select, and now I can select the wall again. One thing you can do, you can also now, if you select, you can also add extra corners with the I and press this. Okay, and with the wall selected, you can press minus and plus, change the wall size, which could be really important. So now let's go and do the inner corners. And that's the most important thing, because usually on the inner corners, you will want them to, you're going to want them there to prevent cutting. So usually I just, I make the node before the corner, one node in the corner. It depends on the corner, of course. And then one node after the corner, at least one node after the corner. You can do more than one. So if you want it to be like really tight, you could do something like this. One problem is that if you start making it really, really tight, it's going to be really angled, as you can see. And you don't really want that, do you? But if you're careful with it, you can probably do it. And let's, for example, bring this point here. Sweep as much. You can probably do it a bit rounder. Yes. So for example, this corner here, we will have a wall, but it won't be as round. It won't be as sharp, which does avoid some problems with the corners. Okay, so we can now continue with the wall and do one huge segment. There are some theories that having smaller or a lesser amount of segments helps with the loading and saving times. It's not clear if that's the case. but there's no reason to have like 100 nodes if you can do it with 2, right? So especially on these long paths that you don't need to be too precise, just to do it like this. Here we do have like have a curve there. So what we want to do, if we take this and we sweep it inwards, it will angle the corner like this. The problem again is that it might not be too round. The angle too much. Ideally, would avoid having the grass there because the grass creates a slowdown, and that can actually be used to your advantage. There we go. Nice and round. Round, we don't want people to get too close to the wall anyway. Do a more, let's try simpler one here. As you can see, you have a bit less control if you do it corner like, but it's usually much more, much rounder. Has a more round nature to it, which is cool. It might be preferable, I guess, depending what you're going for. And when you're done, just press the first node and it will loop back. I'm not sure if you can use the C and O. Oh, you can. So you can just press C and it will loop back to the original point. Again, here, let's just do this. Encourage people from cutting way too close. It's a bit different. This one we have curves on the both sides. This one curve up to there. Kinda orthodox. Oops. Oh no. I like this. Why not? Why not? And that's it. Okay, let's do curve. You can have the wall go into the curb. You can have the wall go into the curb. Extend the curb. Could probably extend the curve just. And I don't think we really need to extend it further here. Might want to curve like this. Okay. I think that won't have a grass bit there. I think now it's gonna be right. Because anyway, the wall is gonna be the limiter on this corner. And there we go. We have a nice simple track. Now, one more thing that you could do is to add terrain. So here we have the asphalt terrain, and the way that it works. So let's make this first corner add a huge bit. So as soon as you add at least 3 nodes, it will paint the terrain, as you can see. Bam. So we did like a square, right? It does use the same controls as the corners. Let's try to make one that goes like this. And okay, so it paints all the way to the wall here. Let's not do all the way here. So there's a little bit of grass there. Don't cut too much. No, and we didn't loop around. Okay, now we looped around. Like this. Okay, and I think that's fine. So we have a wider start finish, but still not cutting too much into the corners. So this curve, for example, still makes sense. You need to come here and then to the curb. Try not to leave too much space on the sides of the start finish line. Otherwise, someone could go like this. In this case, like this, and just loop around. And that would defeat the point. Start finish line. Other terrain types are the gravel, which does act like gravel, as you would expect it to. So where could we add some gravel? Maybe here on this corner. So let's just like this. Bam. All right, all right. Just a little bit of gravel. Just plain it. You also have water, which I believe acts as grass. You're not supposed to actually make it reachable, I guess. You have like a forest, so you can do a nice little forest here. Map is way too big for the what I was trying to exemplify. There we go. Forest now. Go. And the forest is, I believe it acts like a wall. So I guess you could limit the track with a forest, though might not be as useful. You can use the select button to select one of these walls or paths. This. I'm not being able to select this one for some reason. Weird. Oh, of course, because this is a wall, not a... Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the terrain. I don't believe there's anything else here to explain. The wall path, you have some different walls, like tire barriers. There's also this, which you can also change the road size, so you can make like a runoff area like this, like a different road or something. You don't need to loop around. You can just make a road. It will act as asphalt. So you could make alternative paths if you wanted to. There's also this kind of gravel road. Oh, add. Okay. Gravel road, which I believe acts like grass. And there's like a sand road, which I believe also acts like grass. Okay, so what is missing? A pit lane. So the pit lane, as you can see, is way too big for the track I made, so let's make it here. One issue with the pit lane right now is that the laps don't count when you go through the pit lane. And the other issue is is that if the pit lane is a bit too close to the track, you might like go wide here. You could, for example, go wide here. Let's say the pit lane was there. You could go wide here, and as you pass close to the pit entry, it would think that you are actually in the pits, and it will limit your speed. And then you'd have to go close to the pit entry or exit to go back to normal speed, which kind of sucks. But it should be solved eventually. Okay, so let's add a pit. Oh, and one way to circumvent the pit laps not counting is to make the pit exit before the start finish line. So don't make a pit here, make it like here or even in the middle of the track, I guess, if you want to. So it's just a small adjustment that you really have to make. Let's make a pit here. Really weird pit, but why not? You can also adjust the size of the pit. But right now, the the road stays the same for some reason. That should also be fixed eventually. Okay, so let's do this. Weird pit. Face on the outside. Maybe not like this. Oh my god, pit is so long. So long. Okay, so let's go to the paths because we clearly have some things to adjust here. This path like here. Use this path, the pit exit. And this again. So it doesn't look bad, just statics there. And now you can choose the pit entry and exit. So here, what would be a good place to enter the and we can all here. Okay, and a pit entry. You can do several nodes here. Keeping exit of the oh. Ah, fuck. There we go. Something like that. Can't actually move this. It's kind of locked in this direction. Need to compensate shape. Okay, so to make the pit actually work here, we're gonna have to edit the wall. Like this wall. Select the wall. go, and we're gonna have to add a lot of here. Oh, by the way, if you move this like this, it it will act weird, so make sure it's in the right direction. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Add a lot of points. Usually in the pits, I do. Usually do thing like really make it close to the wall. And make one wall going around the whole. It's not going to be really advantageous to use it. Like, yes, you could go around the pits, but I mean, point B there. We're going to have to make a middle wall there. So do plan your pits before doing the walls and whatnot, because it could be really annoying to for aesthetic reasons, you might want to do like the wall here into the edge of the screen and like make a tire barrier here to block off this alternative path. And you can add like cars or something on the other side. Okay, so like this. The pit limiter, it's going to be activated around here. We go to the pit lane. So, okay, so it's this point. That's when the pit limiter will kick in. So keep that in mind when making your track. Oops, oops, oh no. Select, there we go. Tight wall. So tight. Like this. You'll exit the pit lane, and by this point you'll be kind of at full speed. Okay, it's a weird pit lane for sure, but it's just for playing it. I think we want to have one point here, just block off point. As off. I think this should be enough. Okay, there we go. Sweep it around. This one doesn't need to be super oops. Doesn't need to be super size because there's no point in cutting here, right? You're coming from this side, you don't want to cut into the pits, and if you're coming from the pits, you don't want to cut into the wrong side of the track, so you can make it simple. this point, corner, here, right there, no point. This one, we might want to still kind of round. Good. So, try not to have too many like pointy bits close to the racing line. So, okay, I think that's enough. Round it a bit, and there we go. I think we have finished our track. You can change the direction of the pit lane even after it's done. See? Just press and the arrow there will change. I'm not going to change it now. You can also change the AI lines. So the green line will be the normal line that the AI takes, and the blue and the red one will be overtaking lines. So the green one, normal one. So what we want the AI to do? Normally, we want the add a node here. Not super clear how the lines work. Often has some trouble with until line 2. Normal looking. Right corner into the overtaking line. I don't know. Hopefully the AI is able to brake really hard here. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it, but that would be blue line is gonna be like the braking. Proper. Okay, and I think that's good. You can always change it later. So that's it. So now that you have the track all done, you can use the save button to actually save track to a slot. Do it just in case. Okay, let's save slot 5. And now you exit and save. Do not use the don't save option unless you don't care about the track, especially if you're editing a track which already exists. Otherwise, you might just lose all of it, which is obviously not ideal. And there we go. Now we can just change flag. Alright, let's do a Portuguese flag. Tutorial track. There we go. Tutorial track. You can change the track type. You have the normal tracks and the other category. That's where I'm gonna do it. The AI speed just makes the AI faster. That's it. So these buttons, the track editor takes you to the editor so you can edit a track. The save one just saves it, and the share will publish it to the workshop. Okay, so I saved it. So now I can go to a quick race. We go to other. There we go, tutorial track. With 20 cars. Let's try a couple laps. We will also see if the AI is working properly. So it actually, oh. Okay, so that's weird. So right now, there might be some issues with the minimap. Okay, so the AI seems to be working. I just saw some of them take the overtake line on the inside. Actually, let's do... I wonder if it has to do with my... with my zoom. But let's do spectator mode. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I can't take the map off my... Okay. Now this wasn't happening yesterday, so it might need some fix. But as you can see, the AI does seem to be using the lines that we made. They probably need some improvement. The AI also doesn't seem to know how to... you see, Leroy tried to go on the inside. Sometimes I see that there's some issues with the hitboxes. And yeah, for example, that racing line is way too close to the corner, so they keep hitting the corner. So I would need to adjust it. But that's it. That's how you can do a simple track. And there's already a lot of nice tracks. Like, for example, I did this one, which I don't think it's gonna work with the AI. I don't think I did, or maybe I did an AI line, but it's a Race of Champions race. In case you don't know what it is, I can show you. So it's like a 1v1 track. Oh, it's not gonna work with the AI. It is. Wow, at least one of the AIs managed to do what it's supposed to. Will it loop back around? It did not. Wow, I am actually impressed that the AI took the correct line. So as you can see, you can make cool tracks like this, and the AI will actually take the correct route. Yeah, and that's it. Well, there's not much more to say. A lot of the things I said here might be different in the following weeks as more updates to the track editor come out. So yeah, stay tuned and have some fun. Okay, and there's one last detail that I forgot. So when you go, you can go to a created track. For example, here you can press the edit button. It should be the E if you're using the keyboard. E. Edit track. You can create a copy to edit someone else's track. This one is mine, so I can edit it. And you can go to track images here. So if you go to the track images, I won't show it to you, but basically you have the grass, which is a map which has all of the grass in green, all of the map in green, and the rest is transparent. The gravel, which is the same, it has like in yellow the gravel. There's an item.data file, which I don't think you're supposed to edit it at all. There's a minimap, which is something that, for example, I should edit right now to make it make sense. And there's a track preview. There's the track itself and the track preview. So you can make edits to the track if you want to decorate it with things which are not available in the editor. There's a track editor.sav file. And yeah, so for example, the issue we had with the minimap is that it's too big. For example, this minimap we just had is the exact same size as the track, which doesn't make sense. So you can just scale it down and it's gonna work, or you could even make it transparent if you want. And that's it. Then you only press the share button. Press the share button, and it's gonna be published to the workshop. So that's it, and goodbye.